What's up guys, it's MTG Matt for you, and today we're going into the ladder with an oldie but a goodie, and you actually can't see this really because of my face, so let's move it here. Yes, Esper Control is back. I know a lot of people hate this archetype, but nevertheless, it's a very powerful archetype, and for the last few expansions, it wasn't really meta relevant or wasn't around at all. Like, the last time I can really remember Esper Control being a big thing was around, like, from Dominaria up until, like, War of the Spark, I would say. And sometime thereafter. But, yeah, it's been a long time since Esper Control was really good. But I think the pieces are all there now. Strixhaven was a thing like the last expansion that added like the last good pieces to make this really good again. And I mean, if you just take a first glance at all these cards here, you can probably understand why, because we just got a lot of powerful stuff available for Esper right now. So what's the idea of this deck? Well, you play a bunch of powerful planeswalkers and then you win the game. That's it. It's as simple. While this is a control deck, in a way, it's a very easy deck to play. All you really do is, well, you know, you remove stuff and then play your planeswalkers, and then your opponent can deal with them, and then you win. It's actually a very straightforward, pretty easy to play deck from my experience. And so let's go through this deck and let's explore why, in my opinion, Esper Control is really viable again, because all the pieces are finally there to make this good. So, what are the newer, let's say newer, most recent pieces that make this deck really good? First off, I think the biggest push for Esper came in the last expansion, actually, in Call Time, because we got Kaya the Inexorable in the last expansion, right? 5-mana Planeswalker in Ores of Colors. With comes in with 5 loyalty and +1, put a ghost form counter on up to 1 target non-token creature. It gains when this creature dies or is put into exile, return it to its owner's hand and create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. So very nice effect. If you have a few like key creatures in your deck, this is actually useful because you can put them on the battlefield, have them protected, they will always come back to your hand, and even leave your spirit behind. So +1 is just some good useful stuff if you have creatures that can benefit from them. Then the -3 is the most important one. You play Kaya, -3, exile target non-land permanent. It's really good in against any deck. And it's the reason why Kaya is so powerful. Because at 5 mana she has the same rate as an Elspeth Conqueror's Staff. But it's basically an Elspeth Conqueror's Staff that leaves behind the Planeswalker immediately. Whereas Elspeth Conqueror's Staff only exiles non-land permanent with mana value 3 or more, so there's a restriction there. And it's only 2 turns later that Elspeth Conqueror's Staff brings a Planeswalker to the battlefield. So in this way, I think it's very comparable with Kaya, and Kaya is just better because it's immediate. You have an instant effect on the board, and it's just very nice. Plus, you have this play pattern with Kaya where you put her on the battlefield, you exile something, the turn after you plus her, and then the turn after that, you can exile something again. So it's very good. So that's a key piece for Esper Control. Just have this 5-mana Planeswalker that's universally good against any deck, right? Big, really good stuff here. And that's the reason why I got 4 of her in the deck, because she's a key piece to making this work. Another big thing why Esper Control is good is also from Call Time, Nico Aris, right? It's Azorius Call Planeswalker, which is also just amazingly powerful. It's this 3-mana Planeswalker where you can pay X on top, and then he comes and play with X shard tokens, which let you draw cards. And occasionally he can even remove a small creature with his first -1. And if not, he's just really, you know, you pay some X, he comes in with a bunch of shard tokens, you -1 him again for another shard token. And then if he's placed on the battlefield, you just have this play pattern on +1 him in 1 turn, next turn -1 to effectively draw a card, right? And It's just this planeswalker that is always an amazing top deck in the late game, because you can put as much mana into him as you want. So he's always relevant throughout the whole game. And it's just your card draw engine, it gives you a lot of value, and it's just amazing for this kind of control the archetype. So Nico Aris, very, very nice for the Esper Control archetype, right? And then I think the last new most important piece that was added with Strixhaven is Professor Onyx / Liliana. It just gives Esper Control this top-end planeswalker that has an amazing static effect for a control deck, right? Whenever you cast or copy an instant sorcery spell, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Yes, you definitely want to gain life in control deck, that's really good. And your opponent loses 2 life, so that's also just great, because it's just another way of pressuring your opponent. So, static effect, amazing for a control deck. The +1, amazing for a control deck. It's just +1, draw a card. And not only that, but you basically strategic planning, right? Because let's look at strategic planning. It's this effect, right? Look at top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard, and you lose a life on top of that. But Liliana obviously gives you that life back through her static ability. So it's just amazing for a control deck, right? +1, you draw a card every turn. You hold up your counter spells, and then if you counter something on your opponent's turn, she gains you life, damages your opponent. Absolutely amazing. Her -3 can occasionally be just a creature removal. It's just nice to have. So it's just solid, but not great. But then her -8 is also a win condition, right? Each opponent may discard a card. If they don't, they lose 3 life. Repeat this process 6 more times. So, in any scenario, either your opponent loses because he loses so much life, or he's left without a hand, which will also very likely enable you to win the game. So these 3 planeswalkers were just added with the last 2 expansions, and I think these were the key pieces of making Esper viable again. And then the rest of the deck is just, let's say, stuff that has been there for a long time, but it was just missing these last good new pieces, right? And before I go through, let's say, the usual old stuff, I wanna point out the other new cards in here. First off, 2 copies of Baleful Mastery. 4 mana instant, you may pay 1 in a black red and pay the spell's mana cost. If the 1 in a black cost was paid, an opponent draws a card, and you exile target creature or planeswalker. Very good removal spell. I think as a 2-off, it's great. You could argue to even put 4 in this, 4 Baleful Masteries in here, instead of, you could cut 2 eliminates and put in 4 Baleful Masteries. Because in the early game, it can just exile a creature, exile, those indestructible creatures like Seasoned Hellblade. And in the late game, if you just have the mana around, you just pay the 4 mana to exile target creature or planeswalker, and your opponent doesn't even draw a card. So very flexible removal spell, very, very good. As I said, you can probably run 4 of these and just be fine, right? So Baleful Mastery, great removal. Then a card I found to be really good is Mila Crafty Companion / Luca Wayward Bonder. So we only play the Mila side in this deck. It's a 3 mana legendary creature Fox. It's a 2/3. Whenever an opponent attacks 1 or more planeswalkers you control, you put a loyalty counter on each planeswalker you control. This static effect is cool, but it never came up in any of my games, but it might be relevant. But the second ability, whenever a permanent you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. Very, very, very nice. Usually in standard, planeswalker removal is targeted. Occasionally people play Blood on the Snow to destroy all planeswalkers, but more often people just have target removal spells on planeswalkers. So if you have Mila on the board, she allows you to draw cards from that. But not only that, if your opponent targets a planeswalker you control to destroy it, Mila triggers, and you know, if you then counter your opponent's spell, you still get to draw the card. So that's really, really good. And if I were willing to give up a Mythic wildcard to cast Mila / Luca, I would probably put 2 Milas into this deck, because she happened to be really, really good in this deck. So far, I only got 1 copy of her in here, but for your own collection, if you happen to have more than 1 Mila or want to craft her anyway, I think 2 Milas in this deck could be really good. So that's just really great. And then the last new card we got here is Semester's End, which it's probably not that great of a card. I actually got it in here to just try it out. So it's a 4-mana instant in white. It says, exile in an armor of target creatures and or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of the next end step, return each of them to the battlefield under its control. And then creatures get an additional 1/1 counter and planeswalkers an additional loyalty counter. Put this in here because we have a lot of planeswalkers in this deck, and it's a way to save them from, for example, if it happens to be relevant, from an Ugin activation, right, which is really scary, or just from attacks. But I didn't get to play this card too often, so I'm not done with evaluating this card, but it just seems fine so far. But probably what's better to put in here is instead Mangara, which has the same mana value, right? Also 4 mana. But Mangara Diplomat is probably just a better card to put into this deck to replace Semester's End. It's this 4 mana human cleric with lifelink, so that's already great for a control deck. It says, whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of these creatures are attacking you and or planeswalkers you control, draw a card. And whenever an opponent casts a second spell, each turn, draw a card. So this will sit on the battlefield. It can lifelink, which is great. 4 toughness is okay to block some small stuff, but more importantly, if your opponent decides to go for your planeswalkers, you get to draw a card. If your opponent plays the second spell, each turn, you draw a card. So Mangara Diplomat probably just better than Semester's End. And also, if you have Mangara in the deck, you have 3 creatures in the deck instead of just 1. So then the Kaya +1 also becomes more relevant. So just for your information, Semester's End is more of an experiment of mine, but Mangara Diplomat is probably just the better card here. And yeah, those are the decks, like the cards I want to point out in this deck. And then the rest of the cards is just good old stuff to make Esper Control work. For Doomskar as our board wipes, we got 2 Ashiok, which is also powerful planeswalker from Pharaohs Beyond Death. He's a win condition because he makes 2 free tokens that exiles our opponent's libraries and, you know, can just go face. Esper Sun's Nemesis, also from Pharaohs Beyond Death, another win condition, can in theory make infinite tokens because you can cast her over and over from the graveyard. And she can make tokens, she can gain you life, which is excellent also in a control deck. She can pump those tokens to really damage your opponent, be aggressive. So she's amazing. 4 Solid Coming to counter anything, 2 Negates to counter anything, because in a control deck where we already have a lot of creature removal, we're most concerned with non-creature spells destroying our planeswalkers. And then 4 Eliminates to deal with the early threats against like red aggro decks, Dimir Rogue decks, and 2 Bloodchiefs first, also for early removal and occasional removal of big stuff later in the game. And then finally, let's take a look at our land base here. Very important 2 Castle Armor base. It's another win condition actually, and especially in control versus control matchups, Castle Armor can just win you games by making infinite 1/1 human creature tokens. Very good. 2 planes, 2 Castle Vantress for scrying, 2 islands, 1 Castle Lockfin for occasional card draw, then all the dual mole lands in the Esper colors, and 3 Temple of Silence Scrylands, because we're actually very dependent on having white mana early on for Doomskar. So we need a lot of white mana, or we need black mana for removal. So that's why we got 3 of those black-white Scrylands. And that's Esper Control in Strixhaven in 2021. I had like a 75% win rate in Mythic with this, so certainly very powerful stuff. Should try it out if you want to climb the ladder. If you enjoy content like this, please consider subscribing. Hope you guys enjoy the games, and I'll see you guys soon. Walk towards, right? Or like a go. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this. I'm just gonna foretell Doomscar here. Ah, okay, this is Steamirox. Well, foretell Doomscar here is fine. Eliminate is really good also. Doomscar is amazing here. If we get a second white source, that is. Oh, please give me another white source. Damn it. Okay. Well. Gonna eliminate now. I noticed that there are a lot of Steamirox in Mythic, like a lot. I feel like I don't have enough white mana in the deck. That actually could be the case. Because I also had trouble in the last game. Okay, so... Want a second... Blue source for the side coming. That's bad. I guess Cast of Vantress is nice for scrying. Actually, let's do it this way because first of all we can... Oh yes. Okay. Definitely countered into the story here. Now it's really just hoping to draw something good. I mean, this will be a good window because he's gonna be tapped out. Damn it! Oh, yes. Give me that. Okay. I mean, it's not like we're in a good position now. But at least we get rid of this board for now. And he didn't really mill that much so far. Also, if we... finally mills our Elspeth, we have something to do with our mana. Okay, that's great. Also, we can eliminate plus Scry, which is cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna let this pass because the single guy is not that intimidating. Oh boy, no. Not more land. Okay, Bloodchief first. I think I'm gonna use this because it's not instant speed. Okay, negate. Actually kinda like that. Like to see that. I'll try again here. Can always sack it in response, right? I mean, kind of like that he uses all these counter spells just to preserve his Merfolk Windrobber. Nah, Professor is just gonna get countered, so it's not that helpful. Nico Aris. That's interesting though. That is very interesting. How much mana do we have? We got 8 mana. So we're gonna do X equals 2 to hold open enough mana to pay for a mystical dispute. It actually resolved.
Destiny won't determine my future.
Yeah, what sucks about Nico is that he has a triggered ability on the stack, right? Which means that you don't have priority when he comes on the battlefield to use his loyalty abilities. That's really bad. Yeah, I actually like I saw it coming here. There's another land. That's really good. Plus we still have the mana to hold open a sword coming. Esper is really nice here because she can gain us life. I wonder if I should counter that. I mean, if he counters my counter, I've just lost. Otherwise, I have one more shot, basically. I think I'm gonna let this countered. I'm gonna let this resolve, and we hope to just cast it next turn. Because we can take one more damage and not die. I think I need to risk it here. Otherwise it's just gonna get worse and worse. Okay, we're at 1 life, so that's something. An idea, we exile all permanents, so that he can't get it with, what's it called? Like the trickster guy, if he has that in his deck. Oh yes, give me 5 life.
Time to fight is now. We can rebuild the walls of serenity.
Okay, for now we're not dead, and we got a Baleful Mastery. That's pretty cool. Exile. Exiling is annoying, but okay.
I cannot escape my failures.
I like Kaya. Yeah, I think that's really good. Okay, he's gonna sack this in response, but I don't care, it's off the battlefield, which is nice. And we got a Baleful Mastery open. And a Kaya on board. So I think things could be worse. Okay.
Well, I guess I got in over my head.
Okay. Now I can't counter this. Unless he has a miscast. Soulguard Lantern is very bad though. Well, actually not really. Because we don't have waste in deck with our graveyard. other than Kaya and Elspeth. And the other Elspeth is in exile already, so we got one more in the deck. And Kaya can get stuff back from anywhere. So this doesn't really matter for us. Like to eliminate, don't need the land. Don't know if we can win this game, but we'll try. I mean, our opponent only has 2 cards in hand. I just realized I should take another blue source of mana to be able to scry and still have a counter open. Guess that's pretty reasonable. So what do we have in the deck? We still got 2 Professor Onyx, an Ashiok, a Kaya, an Elspeth. So we got stuff we can use here. Oh yes, let's go. Let's go. I think I'm gonna start off with the Ashiok. Just put threats on the board. Nice.
The shadows awaken.
Okay, sure. If he tries to aggro this, I'm gonna counter. Oh, he didn't even max out my graveyard. Okay. 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 Yeah, I think this is worthy of getting countered. Right, because not only do we lose our Ashiok, but also he gets stuff on the board, which we don't want. So let's make a token first.
Creeping, thieving progeny.
And we'll just build out our board presence here. If we can get Kaya to 7, that would be huge, because we can get all our planeswalkers back. Okay, there's some robber. Yeah, planeswalkers are so good because they're infinite value, right? I'm not gonna use Eliminate now. Okay, let's make a token first.
All your fears are given.
Gonna play Mangara so I can plus Kaya onto the Mangara. That's pretty cool.
Wow, you're not
And now we attack and see if he chooses to block, because if he chooses to block, I don't need to use the Eliminate on the Wind Robber. And now in a way we become the middle deck, right? Yeah, this board is pretty dope. Again, if we can -7 Kaya, that's just amazingly good. Well, let's try to get rid of the Wind Robber. Okay, we got rid of the Wind Robber. Rid of the Wind Robber. Do we get it? Really? Okay, we got Elspeth. Come on. We're so close. Get to draw a card. goes back to our hand. Okay, first things first. Let's get rid of you. Okay. And I guess we just start being aggressive here.
Cannot halt my quest for justice.
Maybe. Nah, I actually do make tokens here.
I am proud of my comrades.
I don't know if we can win this, but we'll try. Try our hardest. On the upside, our opponent has only one card in hand for now. Does he have another border wipe? He doesn't. Okay. So we just pump our stuff here. I don't even know. I think I'm just gonna play Mangara. And oh, let's go! Let's go. Too much value at the end. Just too much value. Let's continue with Esper Control here. Seems good. Okay, against the Yorion deck we can, I think... we can put down the blue mana here. Can you see the deck list? Sure. Let me actually... I'm gonna show you the deck list after this game because I haven't enabled a plugin or something. So I can show the deck list to you after the game, like I'll send you an Aether Hub link. Sure, you're welcome. Okay, so let's play the Scryland here. Another Kaya. I feel like I want to keep this Kaya on top. Yeah. Free mana. Mana value few guys, you can choose one of these three. Or Doomscar. I think I'm gonna let this resolve here. I'd rather keep my negate for something serious, and he can pick the negate. And if he takes any of the planeswalkers, I don't care. We will even draw into another Kaya here. Okay, he gets rid of the Ashiok. And I think this here might be a Zoid coming, right? I think I'm just gonna run into this counter spell here. On purpose. Yeah. Because we got another Kaya in hand, which he doesn't know about. And then let's see what he's doing here. Okay, we ult the multiverse. Okay, let's get another blue mana. Can now start making tokens, which is great. But I first foretell Doomscar here. And you know, hold open, master, eliminate, negate. But from next turn on, if we draw into another land, we can make a token and hold a counterspell open, which is big. I guess it's Yorion. Where's the land? Don't want another land here. 7 is a really good number for us in this situation. Scroll and Barons are not that big of a deal because we got eliminate. Okay, just place the Orion here. I think I made a mistake that I should have first drawn a card with Mason Tome. But maybe he wants to keep Counterspell open. So I'm gonna exile this. If he counters, it's fine. Because we can then use Kaya, but there's no counter. Okay, I think I want to risk playing Kaya here. Because the thing is, he has 1 blue mana open, but he doesn't have a foretold card. So, yeah, exactly, can counter with a Zoid coming. So we just get to play out this Kaya for free. And then we can plus her, and we can maybe threaten to get her up to 7 to her emblem, right? So we got a negate open, we got, if we have to use it again next turn, we got a Zoid coming. If he uses Crawling Barons, can use Eliminate. So a lot of play patterns here, but still he's got 8 mana, so he might find several ways to deal with Kaya. Okay, it seems like he doesn't want to use the Crawling Barons. Five mana. Or not. Okay, there's a foretold card, so that's probably a Zoid coming. Which you can use this turn. Very important. Okay, it does use the Crawling Barons. Let's use Eliminate. Can't use the Zoid coming to counter this, right? Okay, I'm actually happy about that he uses Chest of Talents to deal with Eliminate. Because I'd rather have him exile and eliminate than my counter spells, right? And still Kaya doesn't die here, so that's good. Okay, I think I want another blue mana here. Yeah, but now I can just start poking me with Calling Barons, but... So how much mana do we have? We have 8 mana. Let's foretell like that. So this is still enough mana to make a token with Castle Ardenvale if we want to. Oh yes, please use all the mana. Yes. Sounds great to me. Can just make a token here. Doesn't have mana to respond to this in any way. We can just block. Man, if we somehow can get Kaya to 7, that should win us the game, but would be very surprised if we manage to do that. He can just at one point make, like, pump 2 of his Calling Barons instead of just 1, right? On the upside, he's using all this mana here. Okay, so yeah, now he wants to activate the second Calling Barons, I guess. Okay. Just do this again. And you know, he's still using all of his time on this. All his time and mana. If we just draw into something useful, well, that's not useful. Okay, so Kaya is going to die next turn. 100%, so let's get rid of his Maze Mind Tome. And you know, we just got a third coming, and we're actually in quite a bad spot. I mean, if we just drew into something useful like a Nico Arrows would be best to just get back our card advantage. What? What? Okay, sure. Okay, Kaya just gained us 14 life.
Well, I guess I got in over my head.
Okay, we can just make another token. I think I'm gonna counter this. Right, we have 2 more counters, and ooh, Esper is actually real nice.
Rally to me.
Okay, that's very nice because we can cast her over and over again. Wait. Yeah, I should counter this. Okay, let's see how much mana does he have left. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 mana. So he can only activate 1 Calling Barons. And then he's hitting me for 12. Or he's killing Esper. So I think I'm just happy with this result. He's just exiling my tokens, and I'll take a maximum of 12 damage here, or he just kills the Elspeth. And we recast her next turn. So that's fine with me. It's getting low on cards.
Cannot escape my failures.
Ooh, a Semester's End. That's pretty cool. Just recast her. I don't know if we can win this game because these Crawling Barons will always pressure us. And our eliminates are gone, so the only instant speed way to react to them is Baleful Mastery, of which we have 1 left in the deck. And that's it. So basically need to make blockers forever, otherwise we just die otherwise he can just one-shot us at one point. Thankfully they don't have trample. Just gonna make more blue. Soldiers, and we'll just have to block here forever. And eventually, hopefully we draw into something like an Ashiok. That gives us, well, even more blockers. So a way we can win is just if we make sure that we always have more stuff than him. I don't think I'm gonna counter this because Akaya can just exile this at any point. Alright. So I don't have enough cards in the graveyard to recast Elspeth. Which means that I'm going to Semester's End her. No! No! Oh, that was a mistake. Because she doesn't come back until the next end step, so... well, I guess in that case we'll just minus her. Oh, well, this is nice. It's actually more Semester's End value. So I'm gonna pot a stop on my opponent's second main phase here.
Looks easy.
And I'm not gonna do anything with Elspeth because I wanna get her back with Semester's End. And also Semester's End is really nice here because we can blink the Kaya. She comes back with 6 loyalty, so there might be a chance we get her up to speed to 7 loyalty fast enough to ultimate her, and with her ultimate it should be possible to have a chance in winning this game. So he's still got 4 mana. If he only goes face, I'm only going to block 1 instead of making another token. Okay. Okay. Well, this is actually great for us because we can just Semester's End here. And the attacks fizzle, they didn't go face. I hope he doesn't have a counter spell. Please. Please, no counter spell. One time. Yes! Let's go. Let's go. No blocks needed. Oh, let's go.
I will rend the sight from
Oh.
Helion
finish the
will
job.
pay.
Okay, now we can make more blockers again. We still have a counter spell, which is great, so
Going to fight beside me.
might have a chance to get Kaya to ultimate next turn. Come on, please. I'm not going to attack here. Come on. Please let Kaya ultimate. That would be really big. If we ultimate her, we can, you know, start bringing an Ashiok back. Or just Kaya over and over. Elspeth over and over. That would be really big. Okay, this is a good sign. He decides not to scry, I guess. Okay. He's in the main phase. Well, if this resolves, we can only make one token, so I actually have to counter this. Also simply because otherwise I'm dead. Okay. It resolves, the counter resolves. He's already in the combat phase, so he can't even attack here. I don't know if that was by mistake. Okay, combat phase is over. Is it happening? Oh! Let's go. Oh, we got the Kaya emblem. Ha! That's amazing. And an Ashiok. Let's go. Ashiok is big because this makes us more blockers. Oh wow, we might be able to win this.
Terror lurks among us.
The question is... Now this is an interesting puzzle here. Guess I don't attack.
Together we can exact justice.
I guess actually, if he has another Shadow's Verdict, we're dead. Yeah, we might actually be dead, now that I think about it. A Lockmire Serpent, okay. Can make this unblockable. But I mean, we can get rid of it, obviously. We can especially exile it with Kaya, that's going to come back next turn. Okay, he draws cards. Yeah, what will really help us is Professor Onyx to find a Baleful Mastery. And also to have an actual win condition. Because if he doesn't use his Scrolling Barons, we can't attack, because then he just blocks. Okay, now he makes us unblockable. It doesn't really matter. Okay, we're gonna get a Kaya and exile this. Oh, army of tokens here. Okay. Let's get a Kaya. See if she resolves. If not, we have Blood Cheese first for a Serpent. However, he can just bring it back over and over. Okay, Kaya doesn't resolve. But we got a negate out of his hand. That's good. So this is... Okay, he can activate this only as a sorcery, that's big. So we can just kill the Serpent here. And I definitely want to attack with the Nightmare to exile
All
his
your fears are given for.
graveyard. Okay, let's think. I want to hold back, let's say... You know, let's make tokens.
If you are going to fight, fight beside me.
And I'm just gonna attack with everything I have here. Oh! No blockers? Hell yeah. Yeah, if he's got a Shadow's Verdict, we're dead. Right? Okay. Sucks a bit, but... Just gonna attack with everything I have here. And I guess we... Guess I don't play anything because I need the instant speed token from Castle Ardenvale. Does he have an exile? Okay, he's got an Ashiok of his own.
Close your eyes and dream of me.
Sure. I mean, for the Kai ultimate, doesn't matter where these planeswalkers are. Can cast them from anywhere. Okay, so far this is looking good for us. Okay, let's get a Kaya.
Time to focus. I got a job to do.
I wonder if I should just exile the Nightmare. I think so, right? Do you have possibly lethal here? This is 6, we got 10. He can block. We can also flash in the Serpent. I think... We can flash in the Serpent, have 2 more... I think I'm gonna attack first with everything actually. Just go face. And maybe we exile something good, which we can then fetch with Ashiok. Oh! Oh yeah, we got an Ugin, let's go. Let's go. Ugin is a nice candidate to get. Okay, just exile 2 lands, we don't care about that. We're actually gonna get in for a lot of damage here. Wow. Wow, we actually won this game. Wow, that's really good. Really satisfied with this game. Hey there, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this kind of content and want to see more fresh decks and standard meta decks, please consider subscribing, I would really appreciate it, and I see you guys soon.